Every fucking card I was winning. I was winning all 3 rounds on 2 of them. Yeah. I'm a fucking idiot.
It was an incredible fight. It was an incredible fight. Incredible.
Winning the fight on all the cards, too. Every fucking card I was winning. I was winning all 3 rounds on 2 of them. Yeah. I'm a fucking idiot.
Why are you an idiot? Listen, man, Stipe came to fucking win. That dude was in great shape. He kept coming forward. You kept coming forward. You don't see heavyweight fights like that where 2 fucking monsters just keep coming forward and fucking blasting each other the way that you were. It was an incredible fight. You got nothing to be. Listen, I know how you are now.
Yeah.
You fucking two-handed.
I'm a competitive guy. It's my gift and my curse. You know, like, by not accepting loss, makes you ensure that you don't do it very often. I think that's what makes me so good at stuff, but also makes the emotion run so freely whenever it doesn't go the right way. I think I could get a rematch if I wanted to, but it's something I'm going to have to discuss with my team and my wife and my kids. You know, my son, little Daniel, just asked me, Dad, are you retired? And I said, well, I don't know. I said, would it make you upset if I am? And he said, no. So, you know, said I could spend more time with them, so we'll see what happens. But just gotta kind of figure it out, you know. I try not to make these decisions emotionally. I have to take my time and figure everything out.
What do you think this is sort of a little sideball thing, because I just started, like, in my head, started doing the fantasy matchups with Conor. Just in general, what do you think right now is the biggest fight you could possibly book in MMA?
Biggest fight you could book in MMA? Well, yeah.
Not fantasy world, not Brock Lesnar versus Conor. Like, yeah, obviously,
no,
we're talking about something that could happen.
Yeah. No, I've got it. Listen, the answer is simple. The answer for the biggest fight right now in MMA is that in 2 weeks' time, Khabib versus Dustin Poirier is taking place. Incidentally, I think it was yesterday, we saw the square-ups. I think they're in Dubai right now. Pardon me, Abu Dhabi. They're in Abu Dhabi. No drama, no pointing, no shouting, no swearing, just respect, which is great to see, but it's not getting the hype. It's not getting nowhere near the hype. So I don't think that pay-per-view, as big as a star as what Khabib is, because he is a huge star. He's got a massive social media following now. He's all over the world. He's world famous. But I just don't think that's going to deliver as much, just simply because fireworks sell. Simple as that. It does. It's fighting, and then it does help sell the fight. After that fight, if Khabib wins, and when I saw Dustin and Khabib square up, incidentally, I did notice they're very similar in stature, in size, but Khabib looked a lot thicker and stronger. I think Dustin's got a tough fight. In fact, everybody knows that. But with the Dustin Poirier that showed up against Max Holloway, I think Max definitely has a chance in that fight. You know, you've got to lean towards Khabib, but Max has a chance. Anyway, the point of me saying all that is, pardon me, Dustin stands a chance, pardon me. If Khabib wins that fight, the rematch with Conor and Khabib, there you go. That's the biggest fight UFC can make right now. Bigger than DC Jones 3, bigger than DC Stipe 3, bigger than Diaz McGregor 3. In fact, I don't know about that.
That'd be tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah. But you've just got to go off history, right? Khabib versus Conor did 2.4 million buys. That was the biggest pay-per-view the UFC's done. They had all that drama afterwards, you know. You got to think the rematch would be bigger. You got to think, but I don't know. McGregor's stock did definitely take a plunge. You know, if we were on the FTSE 100 right now, you know, fucking stockbrokers would be jumping off fucking skyscrapers, killing themselves because they just lost billions of dollars. You know what I mean? We're just looking at the notes here. Usman versus Covington officially targeted for Madison Square Garden. You know, did you see Usman? Sorry, pardon me, not Usman. Covington. He did a report or he did an interview just recently. He had some chick dangling off his shoulder. Can we play any of that? He had some chick dangling off his shoulder. He was talking all kinds of trash. To be honest, he had a good point. He made a few good points, but I can't remember them off the top of my head.
I like about Covington is he's like, even though him and what's his name, Masvidal are boys, he's been trashing Masvidal too. He's like, yeah, dude, pull up that quote, Harry. It was pretty funny. He was talking about how they wouldn't give Masvidal front row seats at the event.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that before when I was making my turkey bacon. When you were stuffing your face, I want to scarf something down. You said, I was like, all right, well, I'll take this opportunity to make some poultry bacon. And I was making it, and I listened to it, and he was saying, well, turkey is a form of poultry, okay? And he was saying, you know, yeah, of course I was there. They had the champ front row. I'm the people's champion. I was front row. Masvidal, in fact, bring up the quote. Let him say it.
Yeah, but Harrington?
Yeah, he said he was trying to get Masvidal to the front row, but he doesn't rate. He's not a championship fighter. Championship fighters sit front row, but Masvidal had his back a few rows back.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's hard to get those front row seats, doggy.
Yeah. I don't even want them. I just want to be on that first riser. That's all I need.
You know, Covington's got to be careful, though, because Masvidal and him, even if they are boys, I'll tell you, as we all know, Masvidal doesn't take any messing around. He's a very volatile son of a gun, and he's a real dude. If he takes a hint of insult to any of that, we might see some action, so that'll be funny. What else we got? I'm looking through these notes. Amanda Nunes
as it relates, I apologize. As it relates, the Masvidal Nick Diaz fight, I guess they're trying to target the end. I'm sorry, Nate Diaz fight. They're trying to target the end of the year, which I think they should just try to make that all on one card. They've done that before, where it's like the title eliminator fight is the co-main event, and then the main event is the title fight. That would be killer in New York. You come out, fucking hang out, get a couple pods on in person, maybe do a live show on the Friday night.
Yeah, but the end of year show is in Madison Square Garden. The end of year show that you're talking about is in Vegas. Amanda Nunes versus Jermaine Durandamy. That's awesome. John Jones is hinted to be on that card also. Matt Brown versus Ben Saunders. And if you throw one as well, Masvidal versus Nate Diaz. Do you know, honestly, I think that's too much. That's too much to have John Jones, Nunes.
No, I was saying November. I'm not saying that card. Yeah. I think they should do November. I guess they were saying they were trying to target the end of the year. Regardless, I mean, obviously, that fight is massive. Probably more excited. Probably. I'm more excited to see Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal than I am to watch Usman and Covington.
Yeah, for sure. No disrespect, and I'm not trying to shit on Colby Covington. I'm not listening. You know, I actually do find myself somewhat entertained by his antics and what he says, to be honest. Once I got past the initial disdain for him, is that, you know, if you just look at it as a gimmick and a bit of shtick, which is what it is by all accounts, then, you know, then good for him. He's making headlines. Listen, in the Octagon, he's a hell of a fighter. He really is. But I've got to say, as you said, and that's why I clarified that point, it's not because of any bias or anything like that. Masvidal Diaz, I get way more excited for that fight than Usman Covington. But Usman Covington being the main event being a title fight would be the main event. Diaz versus Masvidal co-main, fucking hell, dog. That's a great fight card right there.
And Triple C went on to become rich and famous, and he became the greatest combat athlete of all time. The end. Oh my man, what's that smell? TJ sharded again. Jesus. Anyways, kids, I've been thinking. Daddy's been having really tough fights lately. This last year and a half, he's fought Demetrius Johnson, the greatest of all time, beat him. TJ Dillashaw, the greatest bantamweight of all time, beat him. And also beat the killer in Marlon Moraes. Daddy wants an easy fight, kids. I want somebody that I could break. I want somebody brittle. I want somebody easy. In wrestling, we call them pud whackers, fish. Or better yet, how about a tuna fight? Dominick Cruz, I have a message for you. I don't know how you can say you're the best in the world when you're not even the best out of the state of Arizona. Dominick Cruz, you can do me a favor and you can bend the knee to Triple C too. And one last thing. Wash your filthy dog.